Once upon a time, deep in a quiet valley nestled between rolling hills, there existed a small village known as the Valley of Tranquility. Its name, however, was somewhat ironic, for every day the tranquility of the village was shattered by the turbulent roar of a wild river that split the land in two. On the east bank lay the cozy homes on the village's school, and on the west bank were the fields and orchards that the villagers depended upon to sustain themselves. Each morning, the children rose with sleepy faces and embarked on a perilous crossing to reach their school. They had no choice but to hop from rock to rock on the river's treacherous path or board a rusted old boat that threatened to capsize with every wave. It was a daily struggle, a test of bravery and resilience. One evening, as I strolled through the village, I noticed the children taking turns to board the rickety boat on the riverbank. The sight tugged at my heartstrings. Watching over them were Rodina, Iyad, and Ziad, 3 determined faces etched with worry. Rodina turned to me, her eyes downcast. "If only we had a bridge here," she sighed. Iyad, the eldest, hesitated for a moment, a faint smile playing on his lips. "But we're just kids," he said cautiously. But Ziad, the youngest, his eyes shining with excitement, retorted, "Why not? Heroes start with small steps." In that instant, the plan began to beat to life in my mind, for I, the narrator, was an eyewitness to its birth. From that moment on, the children became consumed with their mission. In their grandfather's weathered wooden shed, Rodina, the artists of the group, sketched a map on a rough plank of wood, marking the spot for each support pillar and beam of the bridge. Iyad, the strongest of the 3, hauled the heavy timbers onto the riverbank, while Ziad, the quick one, dashed off to his grandfather's workshop to fetch ropes and tools. The days that followed were filled with laughter and hard work. Soon, a framework of strong wooden pillars rose from the riverbed, anchored firmly to both banks. Each morning, as the sun peeked over the hills, the children raced to the river, eager to add their touch to the growing structure. Their small hands worked tirelessly, smoothing rough edges and weaving together the intricate patterns of the bridge. But their idyllic labor was not to last. One morning, as I made my way to the village, I witnessed a sight that made my heart skip a beat. The usually gentle river had transformed into a raging torrent. Floodwaters roared over the riverbed, threatening to wash away all traces of the children's work. I rushed to the riverbank, and there I saw the 3 children clinging to the structure for dear life. Rodina, her face pale with fear, slipped and fell. Her dress, once neat and tidy, was caked in mud. Iyad, ever the hero, reached out and gripped her hand with all his strength. His face, streaked with dirt and sweat, was a picture of determination. Ziad, though scared, found his voice. "Hold on," he shouted. "I'll get help." And with that, he disappeared into the swirling waters. As I pulled Rodina to safety, my admiration for these courageous children knew no bounds. I knew they would not give up. Then, from the crowd that had gathered, I saw old Salim emerge. Salim, the wisest man in the village, his face etched with years of wisdom, had heard tales of the children's endeavor. With a knowing smile, he approached the struggling trio and handed them an old ship's rope. "This river is part of our lives," he said, his voice calm and reassuring. "And if we work together, we can create our greatest joy." With old Salim's help, the children secured the bridge's framework against the relentless onslaught of the river. Days turned into weeks, and the bridge steadily took shape. The once distant vision of a safe passage across the river was now within reach. The children's spirits soared with each passing day, their laughter echoing across the valley. But their progress was not without setbacks. One stormy afternoon, as lightning cracked overhead and thunder shook the ground, the river raged with renewed fury. I watched helplessly as some of the wooden planks were torn away, floating down the river like discarded toys. Ziad burst into tears, his dreams of a finished bridge seemingly washed away with the planks. Iyad, ever the comforter, put his arm around his brother's shoulder. "This is just a tough checkpoint," he said, his voice firm yet gentle. "But we'll try again." And indeed, they did try again, determined to make their vision a reality. Rodina, the observant one, noticed that the planks had been ripped away from the weakest point of their structure. She took out her drawing pad and spent hours poring over her sketches, adding measurements and finally, she emerged from her grandfather's hut, with a revised version of her original plan. "I think I know how to make it stronger," she announced to her brothers, and so they got to work. Rodina's new design incorporated a mesh of iron cables woven tightly together, forming a sturdy lattice that reinforced the bridge's span. It was harder, more challenging work than before, but the children persevered. Every cable added brought them closer to their goal. News of their endeavor spread through the village like wildfire, capturing the hearts of the villagers. What started as a small project had now become a community effort. Children from neighboring villages heard about the bridge and came to lend their tiny hands. The grown-ups carried stones, filled sacks of sand, and the women stitched together sturdy bags to reinforce the foundations. Even the village elder came to bless their endeavor, his presence a symbol of the village's unity. As the days passed, the bridge grew stronger, standing as a testament to the children's hard work and determination. Then came the final day. We all gathered by the river, hope glowing in every heart. The wooden pillars, now adorned with colorful ribbons, seemed to dance in the gentle breeze. Laughter and chatter filled the air as the villagers inspected the bridge, their faces alight with anticipation. When everyone was ready, we joined hands and stepped onto the bridge. Together, we crossed from one bank to the other, each step a celebration of unity and perseverance. As I walked, I couldn't help but think of all the challenges we had faced, the setbacks and the moments of despair. But here we were, standing together on the bridge, our spirits soaring. That night, under a sky filled with stars, we feasted on roasted meats and sweet fruits, sharing stories and laughter. I watched the children playing by the river, their voices ringing with joy. At that moment, I realized that their bridge was more than just a structure of wood and rope. It was a symbol of their unbreakable bond and the spirit of their village. In the days that followed, the first pupils used the bridge to cross to school, their faces beaming with triumph. Villagers proudly hoisted a hand-painted banner that read, "This bridge was built on hope and hand in hand." And so I was honored to tell their story. A tale reminding us that cooperation and love can achieve the greatest miracles. As the years passed, the bridge continued to serve the people of the Valley of Tranquility, connecting them and their children for generations to come. And whenever I saw the children playing on its sturdy beams, I couldn't help but smile, for I knew that nothing stood against a will united in heart and purpose.